Hiatus. It's one of those words in the manga community that no one really just wants to hear when it comes to their favorite manga. But before we get into the topic of hiatus, I would like to thank everyone who watched my previous videos that got about 37 views the last time I checked, and even one person commented. To me, that's good because I really didn't market my video on like social media or anything, so maybe this video could get like 50 to 100 views. To dive into the topic of hiatus, of course, I would have to define it, and the definition of a hiatus is a pause or gap in a sequence, series, or process. So for example, if a manga author goes on hiatus, then that means they will stop publishing manga chapters for a specific amount of time. Most of the time, a hiatus is put on a manga because the author needs either more inspiration or maybe health problems, or just because they have other works of manga that they want to create or finish. The only really scary thing about a hiatus put on a manga is that you may never really see the manga come back, and in these extreme cases of the manga being on hiatus for about 4 to 5 years, most of the fans either just stop waiting or they drop the manga completely, or there's some fans that actually stick to the manga and have hope that maybe it'll be published again. Now, the most famous example of a manga going on hiatus is obviously Hunter x Hunter. Its first went on hiatus, its first notable hiatus was in 2012, and that's because the author had back problems. But then in 2014 it came back and then went on hiatus in that same year, and it didn't release a chapter until 2016, and then paused in 2016, and then they released another couple of chapters in 2017, and then they paused in 2017 again, and a year later in 2018 they started to release more chapters. But the most recent chapter of Hunter x Hunter was released on November 26, 2018. This year, 2021, on November 6, 2021, this will mark the 3rd year that Hunter x Hunter has gone without publishing anything. Like I said earlier, the reason why Hunter x Hunter is actually on hiatus is because the author has had health problems, and that's really the only main cause that I've seen in my research while researching why Hunter x Hunter is actually on hiatus. Now, Hunter x Hunter to me is one of the only extreme cases of hiatus that I can think of ever being put on a manga because it's so sporadic in its chapter releases. To put into perspective how crazy this hiatus on Hunter x Hunter has actually been, I'm going to tell it from my perspective. So the manga first went on hiatus when I was in the 2nd grade and came back when I was in the 4th grade, then paused while I was still in the 4th grade and came back again when I was in the 6th grade, paused again and did not release another chapter until I was in the 7th grade, then paused when I was in the 7th grade and starting releasing chapters again in the 8th grade, and it has not released a chapter since I was in the 8th grade. And to put that into perspective, I'm 17 years old now and I'm an 11th grader, which means he has not released a chapter in over 3 years. Now, with that said, almost every week or two I'm always looking to see if it comes back, updates, anything like that, but I really don't think it will come back in these next few years, but maybe 5 years from now it may come back and he may start releasing chapters again, and hopefully he'll finish it this time so you won't have to go on another hiatus. Now, the second manga I'm gonna talk about is Vagabond, and Vagabond, the story is almost finished because before the author put the manga on hiatus to finish his other manga, Real, which is an award-winning manga, he said that he is close to finishing the manga. So hopefully Vagabond will actually come back and they'll finish it, and then that'll be it. But to first start off the Vagabond hiatus timeline, in 2012 it went on an 8-month hiatus, and after that started releasing monthly, and it went on a hiatus again in 2014 and stopped releasing altogether in 2015. Now, since 2015 he has not released a chapter, but I really can't blame him because he has another manga called Real, which he is working on, and I believe he could finish that and quickly come back to Vagabond. The only reason why I'm saying this is because I know some people are anxious and have actually waited until 2015. Unlike me, I picked up the manga about a year ago. I'm on chapter 60 right now. I bought a volume for my birthday actually, and I'm reading that. But yeah, I know people have waited almost 6 years. It'll be 6 years to the date in May 2021. But yeah, I hope it comes back and he can actually finish it. Now, another famous example of a manga going on hiatus is Berserk. And Berserk personally is my favorite manga, and I am almost caught up to it. So I'm literally waiting for the author to release some more chapters. But he probably won't until he gets to a good stopping point in another manga that he just started working on in 2019. Now, to dive into the Berserk hiatus timeline. So Berserk had its first major hiatus in 2014 with a 10-month hiatus, and then came back in July of 2015 and started releasing monthly from June 2015 to September 2016, and then had another hiatus in September 2016 and resumed releasing chapters monthly from March 2017 to June 2017. Then the manga continued to release monthly from December 2017 to May 2018, and then a chapter was published in August of 2018. Then after this chapter in August of 2018, Berserk went on an 8-month hiatus. After this hiatus, 2 more chapters were published in 2019, one in April and another in August. After this, 3 more chapters were published in 2020, with one in April, one in July, and one in October of 2020. Then a chapter was recently released in January of this year. This is the definition of inconsistent, but the author has started working on another manga, Doranki, as of 2019, which has probably halted him from releasing any more Berserk chapters than he has released. As I was saying earlier, I hope these mangas return from their hiatus, as Berserk and Vagabond being 2 of my favorite that I'm currently reading. For Berserk, I'm on chapter 325, and as I said, for Vagabond, I'm on chapter 60. Other mangas that have actually gone on hiatus are World Trigger, Made in Abyss, D Gray Man, Black Lagoon, Mix, High Score Girl, and Noragami, just to name a few that have been on or are currently on hiatus. Now, with so many mangas these days actually currently going on hiatus or taking breaks, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, as the author takes a break in between each part, and there have been 8 parts so far. And recently, Stone Ocean Part 6 actually got announced for an anime adapt, which I'm also excited for. But as I was saying, you really shouldn't be scared or fret if your favorite manga goes on a hiatus or stoppage at one point, because most mangas are actually due to have a hiatus throughout their lifespan, be it because of the overwork of the author, health problems, or maybe just a creative block that is stopping the author from releasing as many chapters as he wants to release. But if the manga has not updated or released a chapter or a volume in about 5 to 6 years, I would get a little scared, but I wouldn't be hopeless, because some authors take breaks like that, maybe 5 to 6 years, and then they come back with a mass release of chapters and content. Worst case is that the manga doesn't come back, and I don't know if that's your favorite manga, well then find another manga. I know that's not really easy to do. As myself, now I'm reading over about maybe 20 to 30 mangas, but I'm actually waiting for literally half of them to release another chapter. One of those being a manga I talked about in my earlier video. If you haven't seen that, go watch it. It's called Jujika no Rokunin, and it actually has 27 chapters as of today, but it hasn't released a chapter in 3 weeks. And when I tell you, I'm checking the manga app I use, Manga Man, I don't think it's on the app store anymore, but I'm checking that app literally almost every day to see if the author has released another chapter. And that's really my example of me panicking, because when mangas stop like that for me and I'm reading 20 to 30 and I don't see online that, oh, he posts every 14 to 20 days and that most of his releases will come every week and it hasn't released in about 2 to 3 weeks, then yeah, maybe I'll get a little worried. An example of an author releasing every 14 to 20 days or maybe monthly is the author of One Punch Man, the author of Jagaaaaan. Really, those are the only, maybe Fire Force actually, really only the ones I could think of right now that I'm reading right now that are monthly. But like when I go on Reddits and subreddits and I see that a manga I'm reading, the author releases about every 14 to 20 days, I'm like, okay, cool. Like the new 7 Deadly Sins manga, I think it's the 4 Nights of something. Sorry for the mispronunciation of the title, I just remembered it. It's called 4 Nights of the Apocalypse. I know it releases about maybe bi-weekly or every 2 to 3 weeks, so I'm really not fretting about that. But when my mangas that I'm currently reading go on like maybe a week or 2 break and I really don't know about it, then I start to worry. But as soon as I look on Reddits and subreddits and on the internet and find out they release every 14 to 20 days or the author often goes on a week or 2 hiatus, then I really don't worry. That's it. That's my video. Thank you for tuning in. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, and my next video will actually be uploaded Sunday because I am on a 2-week break from school because my county actually got hit with a tornado and we had school canceled the week before, I believe, and this week is our spring break. So I'm trying to release 2 videos by the end of this week, so you guys have more than enough content. And also, I am going to be releasing a video about every week of April and May as I can, because keep in mind I'm also in school. But I do have a bunch of ideas that I want to put into videos. I just have to figure out the script for it and how I'm going to edit it, and maybe if I even have the time, because some weekends I'm stuck actually doing schoolwork for my school that's due Monday, and it kind of annoys me a little bit, but I will try to get these videos out here as fast as I can. The last thing I'm going to add is actually what this channel will be about, and this channel will mainly be about manga and anime, but maybe I'll post some sports content, as I also used to play basketball in 9th grade before I tore my ACL. But other than that, yeah, maybe I'll react to an anime, or maybe one day I'll stream. Twitch is in the description. As soon as I hit maybe 100 followers, I'll start to stream. But also keep in mind that I probably will not start streaming until I get another desktop, so it'll be easier for me to pull up stuff on stream.